Uh, so since we're talking about that, do you read any other kind of like graphic novel format stuff like manga or web comics and stuff like that?
I do not. I really would like to start that because for one, so many of my students read like enjoy the manga. Um, I never know if it's manga or manga, so sorry if I pronouncing it
No,
wrong.
it's fine.
Um,
I
but
don't know if
so
you've seen
many
it
of
or
them enjoy it. And I would really like to become I read a lot, so I could give out book recommendations
mm-hmm,
and
hmm
um but I don't know anything about that realm. So I'll buy books for my classroom, but I
yeah.
have no idea what they're about. So I would like to um but I don't even know where to start. I bought like the Legend of Zelda graphic novels for my classroom. Um I think something that really messes me up is like reading it backwards.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that just throws off my brain.
It takes some getting used to for sure. I remember when I started reading, and I read a lot on the app now because the Shonen Jump app is like the best deal in any kind of like reading ever because it's $2 a month
Wait, which one?
for Shonen Jump, which is the magazine
Oh,
that puts it. It's $2 a month for like pretty much unlimited reading,
that's
and
awesome.
they have so much stuff going back to the big like all those old series. They have new stuff coming out every week. But yeah, the app will tell you like, no, you're going the wrong way when you try to swipe. Uh,
Really?
yeah, so it's pretty helpful, especially for even if you're so if you're trying to get into it, maybe that would be a good place to start. Just check out the
Okay.
app for it, because I think
But
you could do some free stuff on their website or on the app, and then to actually download stuff and read more than that thing, that's when you have to subscribe. So that might be a good place because they'll have recommendations in the front page.
okay, cool.
And
Wait, what was it called again?
Shonen Jump,
Okay,
yeah, and I'll definitely recommend
cool.
that.
What's so hard is that if I'm not reading comic books, then I'm reading like regular books,
Okay.
um, or building Legos. There's just never enough hours in the day to finish
Yeah.
everything.
Well, I we will definitely get to talk about Legos. I will definitely ask you that in a minute. But what kind of books do you read, or like what are you reading currently?
Right now, I just started actually today, The Queen's Peril, which is a Star Wars book. It is. Do I have the other one here? It is a sequel to The Queen's Shadow, which is a
Okay.
Padme book. Like about her handmaidens, and it just goes more in depth about her handmaidens and her connection to them. And so this book, The Queen's Peril, is a sequel to that one, and it is so far about how she got into being senator of Naboo and all that stuff. So if I'm not reading Star Wars books, I'm
Yeah.
reading Stephen King. One of
Okay.
my goals is to read all of his books. So I'm a huge horror fan, and
Do you have any recommendations for us as far as like Stephen King and where to start?
oh, I kind of jumped in all over, but I just got done with the Mr. Mercedes trilogy, which isn't horror. It's like mystery thriller.
Hmm.
Um, but it follows a detective named Bill Hodges. Um, and that whole trilogy is amazing. But then it dives into The Outsider. So read those books and then read The Outsider, which is a most recent book. But the characters in The Outsider we meet in this trilogy. And
Okay.
then they have a HBO series that came out
Yeah.
last year. Did you watch it?
I watched the first episode and I was like, oh, this is pretty weird. I'll have to come back to this.
Yes, it's definitely weird, but
Yeah.
it's based off of the book, and the book is phenomenal, and the uh, show is even better, which I never say. But they did so well making that TV show, and so it has
Yeah.
to do with like paranormal meets mystery.
Yeah, because the first episode sets up a premise that feels impossible. But I know, like, just being like keeping up with the show, and I don't know like the full spoilers of it all, but I kind of know where the story was going after talking to a few people about it, like people that had either read the book or like they know a little bit more about Stephen King and stuff. So
Yeah, so read the Mr. Mercedes trilogy and then read The Outsider and then watch the show. And it all just like blows your mind. Because I read The Outsider first before I realized that it was connected to the trilogy. So then I went back and I read the trilogy and then reread The Outsider, and my mind was just like, "Oh, I thought it was good, but this is even better."
that's so cool. I love
Um,
that. That yeah, going back and like when one work enhances another, like that's really cool. Which you get a lot with the comics and the movies, like we were talking about earlier, right? So
yeah. And then
and
also The Shining is also a classic, but Doctor Sleep, which is the sequel to The Shining.
yeah,
Have you seen the movie?
I have, and I love the movie. I recently watched it. I think at the beginning of the year, I watched it with some friends online. And I had seen The Shining before, but I think watching them both, not back to back, but at least like within a close period of time, it's a really cool experience. I do recommend for some reason people watch Doctor Sleep first. Like if you've never seen The Shining, obviously watch The Shining first.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna rewatch, watch Doctor Sleep first and then rewatch The Shining.
Oh.
Uh, because The Shining is so good in Doctor Sleep, they kind of recreate some of the scenes, which is super cool. Like it looks insane that how accurate it is,
Yeah,
but
it's so good.
it's still not Kubrick's movie.
No.
So
Yes, which is huge. I'm also I have a huge connection to The Shining just because like in Colorado, that's where we have
mhm.
the Stanley Hotel, which was the
Yeah,
inspiration
yeah.
to The Shining. And so we go up there all the time. It's like being able to go in the hotel that was
Oh,
like
that's so cool.
yeah, they have like really cool tours and you could like stay up there. It's really neat. So I also just really like that concept of it. But after I finish reading The Queen's Peril, my goal is to read The Stand by Stephen King.
Ooh, that book is thick.
I know. So we'll see. We'll see how far this goes. But I heard it's like one of his like classics, so we'll give
Okay,
it a go.
which I think they also just made into like a CBS. Like I think Stephen King is one of the people that has the most works adapted into a whole bunch of media.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we have Pet Cemetery, we have Carrie, we have what is the one about the car? Uh,
Christine,
yeah,
which I think
everything.
they're redoing that one as well. So yeah, I like that stuff. I'm not a big book reader. I do listen to audiobooks, which I'm currently listening to the High Republic stuff.
Oh yeah, wait,
Uh,
which one is that one? The
I think the first Charles Hole book that came out. I don't remember what it's
oh
called.
yeah, yeah. I don't. Is it the Light of the Jedi?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah, I have that one on my bookshelf to read too.
I like that you have reference right behind you of
Yeah,
like
I do.
all that stuff.
Yeah, I think. Uh, this
Oh,
one.
that's so cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
really
like to
enjoying
read.
it. I think my favorite Star Wars book is probably the Captain Phasma one
Ooh, I have that, but I haven't read it.
because it we didn't get much of the character in the movies, but the character is just like a super cool design and yeah, I wanted more in it. The book really delivers on
That's
like
what I love so much about like the books.
mhm,
Like that you just get more history and again like more in depth of the
yeah.
characters, and same with like comic books, and that's why. Have you been reading any of like the High Republic comic books?
I started. I'm behind, but I have started it. I think I read the first two or three of the main High Republic book. I'm not reading the Adventures one, the one that IDW
Yeah,
puts out.
IDW, yeah.
I'm only reading the Marvel stuff right now.
But in terms of like if I don't understand like if you are a Star Wars fan, you definitely need to be checking out some of these comics because they are so good. Like Greg Pak, I met him at Star Wars Celebration and he's been
Mhm.
writing a lot of the Star Wars books.
Oh my god, yeah.
And I just ran into him like uh it was a huge convention and so everyone is all in it for like the everything else but comic books. And there's Ethan Pack and Greg Sack, who's also writing Star Wars books. And
Yeah,
they have
yeah,
like
they're both.
this little corner with like this like a little sign like with like handwritten like Greg Pack and Ethan Sachs. And I just happened to have my Star Wars comics with me because I was
That's
behind
amazing.
and I was
Yeah.
just like reading. And I'm like, what? And so I feel like anything written by them in Star Wars has been awesome.
Yeah, the current Darth Vader series that Pac is doing, I read the first volume, and which when you mentioned the Handmaidens earlier, I was like, oh, they're such a big part of that run.
Yes, and
Um,
it's so good.
yeah, and like he's also from this area, so
Oh, is
I
he?
yeah, I think creators from here just maybe end up on your favorites list.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, yeah, he's really cool. I met him a few times as well when he comes by for conventions, and he's just a lot of fun to talk to, and he just seems like a really cool dude. So
Nope, I agree. And then I've been really liking Jodie Hauser. Um, her like she hasn't done a ton of Star Wars, but she's done a lot of Star Wars. Some of the Age of
her,
Republic stuff.
yeah, her adaptation of the Thrawn book was the reason I started listening to the Thrawn books,
Really?
because I was like, oh, this is really good, but they're not making the other two. They're not adapting. Thrawn has a trilogy, so like
Yeah.
they're not adapting the other two, it seems.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, well, if I want to get the full story, I guess I'm gonna have to listen to the books, which has been normally I do my listening to books like on my commute, but I haven't
Hmm.
had one in over a year.
Oh, yeah,
So
that makes sense.
yeah, so I'm a little behind, but I do have them all. I got an Audible subscription just so I could get all the Star Wars books, and then I'm gonna dip out.
No, that and Audible's a great. I don't know. I keep saying that I'm going to dip out of my Audible account, but
But then they keep putting out books.
yes.
Yeah,
But then that going back to the library, they also have free audiobooks.
that's right. Yeah, and they have all the stuff like even going before like all this acquisition of Disney and all that. So, which is a lot of those books that they remain canon or canon adjacent, like they're still really good. They're just fun reads of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, all right, I do want to ask you about Legos because I I love you. Whenever you show up with a new set or an unboxing on your TikToks, I'm like, ooh, what's in the box? I want to know, and
Oh,
it's probably Legos. Or you show up with like a bunch of bags from your, like a trip. If you are you
y-
gonna show me a bag?
yeah, I have like, I just, I have so much right here. Still,
Yes.
I have like
Oh,
bags right here, and then August 1st. Oh, it's gonna be an expensive month because
what's
August
coming
1st,
out? What's coming out in August?
Marvel and Star Wars.
Oh my God.
So you know about Marvel's What If series.
Yep.
So they're basically doing like everything Lego in that. So we're gonna get we have Peggy Carter sets. Some things haven't been leaked yet. We're also getting Thor. Like you know how we have like Fat Thor and he's like playing uh video games in
Yep.
uh Fudge was the Endgame.
Yep. Yep.
So they have a Lego set of that that's coming out. They have Thanos's gauntlet with
Yeah.
the Infinity Rings. And then what's coming out? Star Wars. Ooh, there's like a lot of Star Wars sets coming out
I would
on.
imagine maybe some Bad Batch stuff.
Yes, I think the Bad Batch ship. And then they have the chamber, Darth Vader's chamber.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's going to be rough.
That's so cool. I don't have a lot of Lego sets. We have some stuff but I think I don't have the patience to build a really large set. All the stuff I put together, like it's been like, the little boxes with I don't know, 100 pieces or whatever. Or I really like the ones that you kind of build a full figure. So I have the Grievous, General
Oh,
Grievous, and
the brickheads,
yeah, I think
like
so. I think
bees.
that's what they're called. No, no, it's like it looks kind of like a model, really. It's
Oh,
pretty tall.
oh, yeah, yeah, like the model.
But I like the droids because they look really cool in Lego because it fits the droid aesthetic. Like I don't like the other characters as much because they look kind of weird in Lego, but the droids fit. So I have damn it, what's his name from Rogue One?
Oh, fudge. What is his name?
Oh, I feel bad because he's my other favorite droid. Um. Anyway, yeah. People are gonna yell at us in the video.
I know. K2SO.
K2SO, yes. It just slipped on mine. It feel like He's one of the, like, I have his a bunch of stuff from K2 because I love that character. But those are really cool. And then I think I bought a Batmobile because I feel like I gotta
That's
have at least one of those.
yes, yes.
Um,
I don't buy a ton of Marvel. Actually, I don't have any Marvel sets. Oh, I have the Daily Bugle that came out. I haven't built that though.
okay.
But I typically just stay with Harry Potter and Star Wars. Um, because they get so expensive,
Oh
and it
yeah.
makes me so sad.
So what was like some of the first stuff you started buying for Lego? Like, do you
Um,
remember?
all it was uh okay, so my husband got me into Legos because he liked Legos and I didn't understand it. I
Yeah.
was like, okay. And then I built my first what was it? I think it was an AT-AT. And it was so cool. You definitely have to have patience.
Yeah.
And but it also helps calm my like anxiety. Uh it's just very I don't know, just like very peaceful and calming. Um and it helps like there are some days I don't know if you ever get like this, but when your brain is just like nonstop and you can't enjoy a comic, like you just don't want to
Yeah. Hmm.
read. I think that's when I build Legos, and then it's really cool to see like you just have bags of pieces, and then you're able to come out with a really cool model or figure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I think that part is really cool. I'm a slow builder, so it takes me a lot of time. Like I just finished Diagon Alley, uh, and this sounds really lame, but a lot of things remind me of like when I was a kid. I loved doll houses
Okay.
and like playing with dolls and action figures, and I feel like I'm able to do that like
Yeah.
now and but with like Star Wars and Harry Potter and Marvel. So
No, that's cool. That's so cool. Like, yeah, it's I think it's a really cool hobby that I don't know that I have the I would like to have the skill. I feel like that's what I like because I'm just really bad at keeping all the pieces organized. Like even in the sets I built, I always end up with something like, oh, where'd that piece go? Like,
oh no,
yeah, and
see
it's usually the smaller stuff, not nothing like the
the
main
glass
bricks.
windows. The windows throw
Yeah.
me off because they're little like invisible
Hmm.
pieces. But no, I'm very this is probably why I'm a slow builder because there are two types of Lego builders. There is just like you just like dump the bag.
Oh no no.
I'm
Oh no.
oh no, my brother-in-law, my husband, they just like the dump the bag and then they just go.
Oh
Um
my god.
I am very particular and I have to like I'll open a bag and then I have to
Yeah.
like organize it by colors and by sizes. So that's probably why it takes me so long. So I'm a very and I have like little bowls for them.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well, that sounds. I mean, that still sounds super cool. I do enjoy. I don't know if you watched the Lego Masters TV show.
yes, I loved that show. It was so
Yeah.
cool. I don't know
Yeah.
how they do it. They have like they are very artistic and have like
Hmm.
amazing minds. Like bless my mom's soul. She thought that we built these Lego sets like out of our
In
head.
your imagination. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I bring out like this book of instructions and I think she was a little disappointed to know that I'm not this architectural genius.
Yeah.
But on Lego Masters, they do everything like
Hmm.
that's so intense, especially when it comes to like the mechanical work of it and like the
Oh
technical
yeah.
build to get things to like spin is just like mind boggling.
Yeah. No, I really enjoy watching the show. Like it. That's one of the things I'll do when I don't want to like read comics or even watch anything like genre stuff, like anything serious, like TV shows that are serialized or whatever. Like I'll just put on. It's one of the only reality TV shows I guess I would say that I like watching because it's about I don't know, it's interesting and it's about art because they're really building really cool stuff.
I don't think
Um,
people realize how technical
yeah,
Legos get.
yeah,
Like
and they sometimes they mention pieces that they have, and I'm like, what? I thought it was just like bricks and like they have all these other extra pieces that add shape or like rigidity to your builds and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. One of the Lego masters is the one of the girls. She's on TikTok and she makes like artwork out of Legos, um, which is super super cool. I don't follow her because she's also a little whiny for me, but
Mhm.
her artwork is so beautiful and it's just so crazy um how creative people are. Like even on YouTube, I follow a couple
Mhm.
people who make like these crazy intense like Lego um like scenes like with water and like underwater. It's insane. I'm not that cool. I just build what the instructions tell me to build,
Mhm.
but I mean one day I would like to make like a diorama with like the Ewok village and
Yeah, yeah.
like make it a really cool display. But
I'm even kind of intimidated when I go to the Lego store and like buying because well, at least when I was a kid, like your Legos just came in like a pack of Legos. Like there wasn't a set to build. It was just like free crafting Legos. But now you can like buy them by the bucket or by the little piece, and I'm like, whoa, like I don't I don't want to buy my Legos by the pound.
no, no, I'll do that if I'm missing pieces or
Yeah.
like if I want to add pieces.
Mhm.
But yeah, people just buy like buckets of bricks. I was like,
Yeah, and I've seen people on TikTok like they'll sell specific brick parts and they'll have like this wall of little cupboards like just like oh yeah, here's this one piece in this one color or whatever. Like I'm running out, so I'm gonna have to order more. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, how did we get to this point where there's so many different pieces?
I don't know. And they get me all the time though because like they have these new like floral bouquets
Hmm.
and being like girly, you're just like, "Oh, flowers that don't die? I need those."
Yeah,
But it's just I don't know, all of it is just so intense and being a nerd is an expensive hobby and I don't think people realize it.
yeah, they really don't. But we always try to find those little places to kind of cut cost and like So I do. I one of the things we try to do is share information about like like you can get comics for free at the library or when free comic book days coming up, which is coming up I think next month. I think
In
they moved.
August, yeah.
Yeah, I think they moved it to August this year, which is awesome because last year I think we got a very small version of it, if at all. Like,
For us, they put it in our hold slot.
yeah, it was a big. I mean, I understand it was a big burden on the stores too, which a lot of people don't know that like the stores actually buy those comics, so to give them out. It's not like Marvel and DC and all these publishers are
We're
like,
like,
here
here,
you go.
yeah, no, no, and I agree. But also, fun fact: if anyone wants to, are interested in Legos, that if you work at the Lego store, you get 50% off of
That's a big,
purchases. That's crazy. Have I thought
yeah.
about quitting my teaching career to work at Lego? Yes. Have I yet? No.
Mhm.
But ep- and then for like seasonal workers, it's 30% off. But that's still huge. Like, can you
That's still
imagine
huge, yeah.
30 or 50% off of like the Millennium Falcon?
Yeah, in between jobs, I did a seasonal thing at Toys R Us, which is probably not as a good idea as I thought. Like, I was like, yeah, I'll make some extra money, but then you get such a good discount on stuff that you just want to buy stuff. So, which I did. I would leave almost at least once a week. I would leave with something. Um,
I would do the same thing.
so,
Yeah, it's dangerous.
um, all right. I think we're kind of nearing the end. But is there anything else you wanted to mention, or I also know that I've seen that you're trying to bake again, which is cool because I love. First of all, I love that your name on TikTok is comics and cupcakes,
Thanks.
which is a really cool name. But now that we're seeing more of the baking, like that's also like a really cool aspect of like like you're not like just this one person. You're like a fully dimensional shaped person, right?
Yeah.
There's more than one interest, so that's always cool, especially when it's a creator that you follow and you're like, well, I want to see more. Like you kind of get to know more of the person.
Right. No, and that's I'm super excited. This weekend I'm making strawberry cheesecake cupcakes. So I'm excited for that. And I used to when I was in college, I managed a bakery. Um and I've just always have loved baking. It's also, I think, okay, the three things that help reduce my stress is baking, comics, and Legos. And so I love that I'm able to share those with other people. And especially when it came to college, I was torn between going to culinary school or going um, to school to teach.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I'm able to still do some baking things, and so I'm excited to add that into TikTok because that was my main idea
Okay.
in making comics and cupcakes. But then, this year was just rough. And then I also have like a baking club at the school I teach at.
What? That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's so cool. Just teaching middle schoolers how to bake, which I thought everyone knew how to bake, but they don't. Um,
We don't.
like
I'll tell you that.
I first came in with like instructions and like they were like, "Oh, is this a teaspoon?" And it was like a measuring cup, and I'm like, "No." And so it's been so much fun. And so I'm excited to start sharing more of my baking content on TikTok.
Well, that's great. All right. Do you have anything else?
Oh, it's funny. Actually, like Queen Amidala has a cupcake.
That's great. Um,
Uh, no. Thank you so much for having me on, and thanks for all these great discussions and following me, and keep up with all the Next Issues podcast because I go to it to listen to your reviews. I always just like to hear what other people's thoughts are with
yeah.
upcoming with comic books that are out. And so yeah, thanks.
Well, great. I will definitely reach out to you again because I want to have you back. I love the series that you did on the Comics Code Authority.
Yeah,
So I
I
think
love
that'd
the
be
comic
a good
authority.
lesson to share here as well, and maybe talk about some cool Donny Cates stuff, like his whole Venom run just ended. So that might be a fun conversation.
Yeah,
Um,
I that issue, sorry, real quick. That issue.
yeah,
It was so much. I got so emotional in that.
yeah. No, same here, same here. And it's cool because it's like you get the emotional stuff, but then you also get kind of like this feel good thing. Like like it's a really nice wrap up to and I didn't know the run was so long. Like it's only 35 issues total, but it feels like there were so many books because of the events that happened in between
Yep.
um
Well, and then
and all
because
that
he
stuff.
did Absolute Carnage before that too,
Yeah,
and so it just has felt like it's just been like this ever going
yeah,
thing. But no, it was. I thought it ended so well. But
yeah.
we'll get into that on another day.
We'll get into that another day for sure. All right. Well, you want to tell everyone where to find you, and I'll put some links on the description. But you
Okay,
want to tell
sounds
people
good.
where to find you?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok at Comics and Cupcakes, and then I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Ambrosia Linda.
Okay.
Oh,
And
and
next
then I
week,
have my podcast,
yep.
Comic Book History Lessons, and you can find that on any streaming podcast source. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Um, if you're watching this video, remember to share, like, subscribe, leave us a comment, and then please go follow our guest.
Oh,
She has great content. And yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.